I think Corridor Crew to me is a natural evolution on the review genre.
Yeah.
Because so far generalists have been doing it. Like Jebiko is a generalist, right? He's not a
Sure.
filmmaker.
Sure.
He's not a film theorist. He's done nothing related to films.
Correct.
But these guys are nerds.
For me, the way they construct the set, or the way they sort of sit down in that sofa and just chill and look at that big screen, it's almost like I'm back in college. I'm chilling with one of these seniors from college, and we're just probably having a couple of beers, and we're just looking at, oh damn, look at that I could have pulled that off. Oh, how the hell did they do that?
I wish we had their vibe, man. They're so chill.
They're so chill, right?
They can say anything. They're sitting like anything. Nobody's following any that body language rules.
Correct.
Or
They're
sitting like
slouching almost,
just
right?
like slouching.
Exactly.
Laughing.
All right, welcome to another episode of Thousand Faces Club Presents Creative Deep Dive. For this episode, we'll be talking about perhaps the most popular BTS channel that is on YouTube, the second channel that is on YouTube. I'm obviously talking about Corridor Crew. But before we dive deep into Corridor Crew, thumbnails, videos, rankings and whatnot, I want to introduce Shubham to you. Shubham, how's it going, man? How are you?
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. Are you excited for
really excited.
Going deep into the crew?
And I hope Corridor Crew, looks at this video and they, try to adjust my hairstyle.
I mean, sure, they're quite known for their eccentric hairstyles and their clothing as well. But it's great because we are reacting to a reaction channel. I think that's the power of YouTube. And we're sort of talking about that. But there's so much more, right? Shubham, there's so much more than just a reaction channel, which is what let's say people sort of might know them from, right? Which is VFX Reacts, which is perhaps their most popular a segment that they do, the most popular video series that is full of. And that was the way I was introduced to Corridor Crew because of their various reaction videos that they've done to Hindi films, Telugu films, Tamil films as well in India. I know you obviously feel you have the Jabby effect, right? Oh, somebody from the outside is reacting to Indian videos. Let me see what it's all about. Some very interesting videos. But I want to understand from you, what was your introduction to them? How did you sort of get into the picture?
I mean, it's interesting that you mentioned Jebby Koey because if you look at Jebby Koey's journey and the inroads that he made in review channels, I think Bahubali really helped him, right?
Of course.
Everyone was talking about it. And I think in the similar vein, RRR has, done its bit for Corridor Crew. Thanks to Rajamouli for, creating,
a spectacle.
These films that are reflecting in the creator space and on the entire world.
Absolutely.
So I think Corridor Crew to me is a natural evolution on the review genre.
Yeah.
Because so far generalists have been doing it. Like Jebiko is a generalist, right? He's not a filmmaker.
Sure.
He's not a film theorist. He's done nothing related to films.
Correct.
But these guys are nerds. They
are nerds.
have set up their own studio.
That's a very good way to describe them. They're film nerds. They're audiovisual nerds.
Yeah.
They're just VFX nerds. Actually, that's a whole new genre. Yeah. But also, it's very important to also note here, right, that Corridor Crew is actually their second channel. Their main channel is Corridor Digital, right, where they produce a lot of, let's say, short films or animated series, and they've also done a few YouTube originals, and they've produced their own stuff as well. So that is where most of the stuff happens. Corridor Crew, which is the focus of this episode, is where they do a lot of the behind the scenes, where they do a bit of interviews and they have reacts videos and whatnot. So for me, Shubham, what also really works, and you were talking about the reaction genre, the review genre. For me, the way they construct the set, or the way they sort of sit down at that sofa and just chill and look at that big screen, it's almost like I'm back in college. I'm chilling with one of these seniors from college, and we're just probably having a couple of beers, and we're just looking at, oh damn, look at that I could have pulled that off. Oh, how the hell did they do that? So I think they bring this very informal, very chill, but at the same time, it's not very basic. It's not very general. They have very pinpointed things that they want to talk about. They look at the specifics. They go into that. They go like, oh, you could do this, you could do that. And I also love one more thing about that, which is the fact that when they review something, when they're reacting to something, if there's a term that let's say you don't understand, right? Like if you have rotoscope, for example, they will do a segment where they look into the camera and be like, oh, so rotoscopy is basically this, and then they go back to the. So what that allows you to do is, in terms of the structure as well, is that, of course, your followings when you're looking at the content, because you can see the video and you can see them reacting to the video. But at the same time, if there's a term that you don't understand, you probably learn something new. So it's entertaining and it's also informative. So for me, those two things really, sell the deal to me.
Yeah,
I
and
really
you're
love
right.
watching them.
If you are looking to educate people, you have to first entertain them.
Yeah.
That's the first precondition of it all. And when you said that, it reminds you of when they sit on sofa sets. They are sitting in a large office space, which looks like something of not exactly an office, right?
Right.
So it reminds me of it gives me Tarantino vibes. It's like Reservoir Dogs, very shiny Reservoir Dogs, because that's kind of space they occupy.
Yeah, that garage.
They use that space, right?
They do.
They I think I watched a video where they did a competition, like where some guy, I think Ren was preparing something on computer or something else was going in the background. I mean, it's just so fun. There were like 15-20 people there. Amazing.
I think that's a very big part of their entire the setup, which is the set, right? Which is the set itself for their office, whatever you may call it. It's basically their canvas. I think this is where they express themselves. They basically, it's there. It's where they take on these creative journeys, and they don't know what they're gonna create, right? But they can do something random. They can film something, and they always have, somebody's always doing some BTS photography or videography.
Yeah.
Somebody's trying out something. So it's this mad science lab of amazing VFX things and digital and animation stuff that's going on.
They don't shy away from criticizing as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, they will not, like other review channels, say only good things about, let's say, a culture that they don't know about, like let's say in Indian film. They'll not be, like, wow. They'll just simply say, okay, why do Indian films have 60-year-old dudes as, protagonists?
Correct. They're very unabashed. Exactly. So I think one big learning here, Shubham, is perhaps that, they are very true to their personality, be it their, be it their setup, the way they sit, the entire way they set up, essentially have the direction as well of the videos, right? Because it can go into a very formal tone, it can be very stuck up, but they're chilling, right? So I think that's a big lesson that they're leaning into that. By leaning behind, they're actually leaning into their personality.
Yeah. So let's now lean into the content.
Exactly. Let's do it, because I think their content averages about, like, if I can just share my screen.
They're growing really fast.
They're growing really fast.
Yep.
So if you just have a look at their channel, right? Let's say look at the banner. What we were talking about, right? Literally what we spoke about a few minutes ago, that they have this creative lab where people are doing crazy things. Somebody is, filming something. That's of course Nico. Ren is just being crazy and flying a drone which might crash into somebody. Then you have Sam doing some AI stuff with his gloves, and then you have the rest of the crew just filming and noting down stuff. And so again, very fun vibe. I immediately get to understand what they're all about. Right? I immediately understand that they're basically a bunch of dudes who are having the best time at their corridor.
Yep.
Literally. Now, going to the content, Shubham, for me, what really stands out, if you look at their, in terms of the video views as well, I would say, sure, like you have a few, let's say you have 310K here, and you have a few, off videos here and there. And in general, I would say, if you average it out, 1 million or 750K to 1 million is given, right? So this range, I think the 792K range or 1 million, I would say if it's pretty consistent, it's pretty spot on. With most videos, they do sort of have that range, which is about 1 million. They do. So again, you have a 2.9 million, video here, which is of course very popular, and which of course we can dive deeper into, which is about anime, rock, paper, scissors and whatnot. But they do average at about 1 million. Now, I want to speak to you about the thumbnails. Like, what are your first thoughts around thumbnails? I have noted down my thoughts. What are your first few inclinations from the thumbnails that you can see?
I think very bright colors. They use a lot of yellow and a lot of pop culture icons.
Yeah.
If you see Brad Pitt, if you see the TV series that are going on, you can see Rajinikanth here.
Rajinikanth and Akshay Kumar.
Yeah. So I mean, see, of course they've built their own personal brands.
Right.
That's why they also feature on their thumbnails. I don't know if they were there earlier on.
That's a very interesting point, actually. It's a very good point, Shubham, you mentioned. The personal brand. Now you can see Nico and Sam in the video. Right?
Yeah. So, I mean, they're using all the right elements.
Mm-hmm.
See, what happens with these advices, related to thumbnails and titles is that it's a time game and it's a numbers game, right?
Sure.
So if you follow the basics, like putting in the face that is more recognizable, like Chris Hemsworth is there, and something is going in the background, minimal text. I think it works if your content is really, really good.
Absolutely.
I think behind it all is their content, and of course, I think these are very, by the book kind of thumbnails.
Yeah, it's by the book.
Working, yeah.
I love another fact that I want to point out is that they often use the corridor logo in some of their videos. It's not always there. I think that's a bit inconsistent, but they do make it a point sometimes to have that corridor, that little shape that you have here, which is obviously their logo, that C, which is there. I think.
You know what? Funnily enough, this is the first time I've noticed their logo.
Yeah.
Even if I've been, a consumer of their content.
Right. It's subliminal branding, I think.
No, but I think they don't really need it, because I couldn't care less about their, logo, because I like their faces.
Yeah.
They are putting them on the thumbnails.
Right.
Frankly, this is the first time I noticed that this is a logo. Okay.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's interesting that they put it sometimes. I mean, corridor specials, they put it everywhere. And sometimes it's a hit or a miss, but I really enjoy watching their thumbnails as well, very enticing ones. VFX Artist Reveals by Ren. Ren is a very interesting personality. I would definitely suggest just watching some of his videos, because he's just such
a geek, man.
Probably geek. They also, Shubham, let's not forget, they also have Corridor Cast, which is their podcast channel. Right? So they have a podcast, and again, you can expect the same old chill vibe from them and these little thumbnails and whatnot. And obviously, if you look at the length here, let's look at the length of these videos. It's 57 minutes, 1 hour, around that range, which is very standard. Par for the course when it comes to podcasts. But that is, of course, what the YouTube channel for the podcast has, which is not the case with Corridor Crew, where they're sub 20, right? If you look at it, like it's again in the 20 range, sub 25 range actually. So that's what I sort of enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do want to bring one thing to your notice, is the fact that their shorts are not really existent. Like they have about these are 10 shorts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, what do you think of them? It's very basic. Of course, some great views. They have 1 million here, couple of million here, but they haven't gone all out with shorts, right? We've been seeing this very interesting time on Creator Deep Dive, where some creators, of course, for them shorts are their bread and butter, but for most, especially the ones who have been established, they don't necessarily go all out on shorts, right? So this whole thing that we have around short form video, which is that, everybody is doing short form, everybody's doing a lot of it. Some aren't really doing that, and they're doing okay. They seem to be doing okay. Of course, you can, try doing it and might get much more returns and whatnot. But what are your thoughts on their shorts?
I think it's time creators decided whether they want to become a long form creator or a short form creator, right?
But you don't think they can be both?
I don't think so, because just like how geeks are moving into a generalist space of review. I think it's time you make your choice, man.
Yeah.
You can either be really successful as a short form content creator on TikTok, Instagram. You can leverage YouTube as well. But I think when you look at the shorts tab, I was not even aware of this shorts tab, because I don't care about the short content. I want to watch that 15 to 20 minute long video. Because they are producing it so well. Why should they, try to condense it to a 30-second video, which doesn't show their personality?
Yeah.
Right. I think, I don't know. I don't have any answer how to choose, to go with short form or long form.
Sure.
But I think you should, try to specialize in one.
Okay. That's an interesting point. Do let us know your thoughts on short form and long form on this one. I think that's always up for grabs as to what you want to go for. Right, but I want to ask you this, right? Like, we've had a great time discussing their content and their their personalities, and they're so true to their personalities and whatnot. But I've also seen this show about them, which is Corridor, which is their main channel, Corridor 2 as well. I sort of feel that these people are essentially new media creators, right? Like they're YouTubers, and they sort of create. They have, of course, have a setup in Los Angeles where they have created all of these things for digital platforms, but now also seem to be going in a traditional format, right? Like they want to do more films, they want to reach a wider audience. So do you think it's possible, let's say in the next 2-3 years that or even 5 years, that Corridor actually produces a feature film right, which gets probably an best Oscar thing
Yeah.
for VFX, and they're working with a lot of
Mhm.
these A-level big ticket creators, or do you think they want to just be the kings of new age media? Because I think they're there in terms of
No, I think
VFX, they're there. But
I
what do you
think
think?
they're sitting right at the cusp of traditional plus modern, and I
Yeah.
believe the traditional path is the one for them
Yeah,
because they recently produced that short film and looks
exactly,
fantastic. Rock
absolutely,
paper scissors,
right,
and see, they are a production company, right? At the end of the day,
yeah,
and they are based in a city which is vibrant with all the A-listers and everyone is there. So I think they should go the traditional path. They should work on the films, but I would just urge them to be urge them to stay together, because
yeah,
if they try to move out, they try to start their own channels and do their stuff, it
yeah,
won't work out. Please
very
stick
interesting.
together. It's a wonderful team,
It's a wonderful
and
team.
produce content, come to the mainstream, we'll support your films.
Yeah, I think I'm sure a lot of people want to work for the Corridor crew, right? Like they want to work for Corridor and sort of do crazy stuff with them. And you can see it. You can see it in the videos that Ren is having a great time. Just you've seen him as a kid, and now he's sort of grown up. It's
Yeah,
like he's grown up in front of your eyes with the kind of very stuff that he does. He has his own YouTube series with them that he does called VFX Artist Reveals. So I can imagine a lot more stars coming from the Corridor crew team itself or from the Corridor crew, where they do a lot of these videos and whatnot. And regardless of how big they get with the films that they produce or the animated series that they produce, I still think they should keep reacting to videos, because those will
oh
always be
yeah,
my
man,
favorite from their
fantastic.
channel, regardless of whatever they pull off. Just looking at them reacting to an Indian film or even a Hollywood film, that is my guilty pleasure. And do tell us what your favorite video from Corridor Crew is. Do you like the React genre? Do you like something else that they're doing? Probably the main channel or even the podcast. The comment section is down below. Subscribe to Thousand Faces Club if you haven't already. And we will see you next week with another creator. I'm Shrivar.
I'm Shivam.
All right. See you. Bye bye.